Hey, what's up? So today I'm going to be talking about swim progression. So I've been swimming for a little bit over 2 years now. I've been swimming because I have gotten into triathlons in the last, I've been competing for about over a year now, but I've been training for just about 2 years now. And I thought it would be a good idea to kind of talk about what are my times looking like, how much progress have I made in these 2 or so years, what have been some of the hardest things for me to learn, and where have I made the most improvements, and what are some things that have helped me out the most. So I thought that maybe this would be helpful for people who have maybe just started getting into swimming as well, or maybe you've been swimming for a little while and you just want to say what's up, or you need a little bit some tips. So I started swimming in 2021, and initially I started just in just like a public community pool, not a lap swim pool, and just kind of testing the waters a little bit. And then I got a real membership to a pool and I started swimming. Obviously I wasn't super great at it. I was all right. I could maybe swim like a 140 for 100 yards. I was sucking in a lot of water and I didn't know how to flip turn. You know, one of the things was like, I had like no reason to want to learn flip turns. I was like, no way I'm learning flip turns. I can just touch the wall and turn until the day I die. Obviously that's changed as I've gotten better, but the most important thing for me in the first kind of few months of getting in the pool and learning how to swim was to be really consistent, because it was like, you're learning something new. I was learning something new, and being as consistent as possible really helped me kind of get my breathing down better, get my catch down better. But the progress was really fast, and then it's been quite slow as of lately, but it picks up here and there. It's interesting. So let's start with some times. So by the time I had finished my first year of swimming, I had swum a 113, 100 yards. I had swim about like a 34-second 50 yard. And when I competed in my first triathlon, I swam a 25 minutes and 27 seconds for 1,500 meters in a triathlon, and that was a wetsuit swim in a lake. And then about a year and a half into swimming, I'd swam a 7-minute 500-yard pool swim for a sprint triathlon. Non-wetsuit, of course. And then just a couple months ago, I swam a 24-minute and 16-second 1,500 meter for the same triathlon that I did my first one. So I came back a year later and I did it again, and I swam about a minute and 15 seconds, minute and 10 seconds faster than I did the first time. So you might be saying, a whole year of training and you only swam a minute faster in the 1,500 meter. And to be honest with you, my 100-yard free time has not really changed a whole lot. You know, I'm still floating at that low 110 range, but also at the same time, I don't swim all out 100s very often as well. So that is something where, life happens. You know, I haven't been as consistent as I've wanted to in the swimming at certain times, and so there's that. But I've made some progress. You know, not as good as some other people who maybe swim more yards, or maybe put more time into it, or maybe whatever it might be. Maybe they have a coach or something. This has all been, majority of my swimming and my practice and my training has been self-coached. YouTube videos, whatever programs I can find online, helpful resources like that. That is all, and it's all been me, and getting some tips here and there from people, some very useful tips from people, and whatever I can get has been really helpful, but I've done all the programming and everything pretty much. So I'm to blame for my own incompetencies. But recently in a practice, I did swim a 2:38 200 yards for 200 yards, and so that is pretty indicative of I feel like some pretty good progress. And I feel like my swim as of the last maybe month or so, couple months, has actually improved quite a bit. I've been really focusing a lot on good consciousness in the water. Some of the hardest things that I've run into when it comes to learning how to swim for the first time. So I come from a running background, but I knew how to swim before heading into this, but I didn't know how to swim like laps. I didn't know proper swim technique, really. So some of the hardest things that I've experienced is open water swimming is really tough. Now, everybody probably knows that if you're a triathlete. That's kind of some old news. But open water swimming is tough. If you can get more practice into open water, the better. I don't have really great access to open water swimming. I do live semi-close to the ocean, but the ocean is scary, so I do not go swimming in the ocean. Also, some issues I've ran into is wetsuit fits. If you don't have a good wetsuit fit, you're going to suffer immensely on an open water swim, because most triathlons that you are going to do are going to require a wetsuit. My wetsuit is a little too small on me, and I have had issues with it being too tight on my chest. I've had too tight on the arms, restricting shoulder mobility. It's going to restrict shoulder mobility no matter what, but the better it fits, the more natural it's going to feel. So I highly recommend that you get a wetsuit that fits and that feels comfortable for you, because that is going to make a huge difference in open water swimming and in triathlons in general. Some of the other hardest things have been getting used to swimming longer yards. So sometimes you get in, especially if you swim by yourself, I get into a mental like stagnation of only swimming the same amount of yards each practice and not really increasing my yardage. And that's especially hard if you're swimming by yourself. So, trying to be aware and trying to push a little bit further, especially having some swims that are longer than others. Maybe some swims aren't as long, but generally trying to increase my time in the pool has been a little bit tough, especially when you have other obligations in life. So now we'll get to where I've made a lot of great improvements and what I've found to be really helpful in the last couple of years to improve my stroke and to improve my times. So over the 2 years, I might not have gotten faster on the top end, but I have gotten a lot more efficient, so I can swim faster for longer. And it's a little hard because I haven't necessarily displayed that in my swimming in triathlon. I'm still trying to obviously figure out that open water piece, but my pool times have gotten more efficient and have gotten faster over the longer distances. So that to me tells me that I've gotten more efficient overall. One of the most important things is being consistent, like I've said earlier. If you can get in, for me, 5 to 6 days a week was kind of like the sweet spot of swimming. Obviously, you're not going to be working out, you're not going to be going after it every single day, but 5 to 6 days a week was a good spot for me, because it's like, it's just practicing, learning. The more times that you can get in the pool, the better your brain will adapt to learning the stroke and to putting it more into like an unconscious state of mind instead of always having to think about it. The other thing, just more technical sides of things, keeping my hips high was something that has really helped me and something that I wasn't fully aware of. Working on a good catch. My right shoulder is a little impinged, so working on trying to get a good, consistent catch and getting into a good rhythm was really important for me. Kicking is something that I feel like I'm still kind of struggling with. I'm still trying to find a good rhythm for my kicking, and kicking drills have been really important for me, and as of the last couple of months and maybe the last year, kicking has been something that's really been on my mind lately. And so whether that means you're kicking a lot or kicking a little, but trying to find a good rhythm has been something that I've been really thinking about lately. The other thing that was helpful, I did join a master swim club for a couple of months. I wish I had joined it sooner because it was really nice to swim with other people a couple days out of the week, especially hard workouts. Kind of makes the time fly a little bit better. And it's also really put me out of my comfort zone. Swimming with other people, especially much more experienced swimmers that could completely drop me in the water no problem. And it definitely helped me feel a lot more comfortable in the water, and it helped me it gave me something else to look at, and it broadened my horizons a little bit. So if you're a little scared of joining a master swim team, I would definitely recommend it, at least for a little while, just to kind of get you out of your comfort zone and to experience what that would be like. One of the last things that has been really helpful for me that I do every once in a while is to record myself swimming. So whether you can get somebody to record you, or you record yourself, or if you have a coach, obviously you already know the coach is going to be able to watch you, but being able to record yourself underwater as well has been really helpful for me, and that has allowed me to get a third-person perspective on some areas where I might be lacking. So you might think things are all cool, you're swimming by yourself, you feel like you have some of the best, you have some of the best positioning, you have the best stroke ever, but then you look at yourself on the camera, as I have done, and I'm like, I look horrible. What have I been doing for these past couple of weeks? I should have recorded myself sooner. And that's what's been really helpful. It's helped me look at my position underwater, how streamlined am I. So a lot of those things are really useful, and you can make changes just like so quick in swimming. You can improve your time so quickly, which is something that I have come to love about swimming, where it's not like in running or biking where it's just purely physical. Like you're just purely physical out there. But in swimming, you can make such small, fine adjustments, and you can increase your time in the next set. So if you have a phone or like a GoPro, you can put underwater to record yourself. I highly recommend doing that. And as for that, I think that's kind of like the last main thing that I would like to touch on. Swimming is tough, but it's just like with anything else. You just got to be consistent with it, and you have to be consciously aware of what you're doing and what your progress is and what your direction is. And as long as you're doing those things, which I'm not always, like, that's not always the case with me either. Like, sometimes I get complacent, or you just get stuck in a rut. You always have to be trying something new, be doing something different. You always have to be thinking about how you're going to improve. That is what I've learned in the last couple of years from swimming. I'm by no means an expert on swimming, but I've definitely learned a lot about the sport, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So I hope that was somewhat helpful. So thanks for watching.